Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Kawal Zahabin Nasri, from member of one of the member of Group 1 from English Development and Engagement Section 20. And we have done executing our project and submitted our video on 31st May. What I think that I've learned, and I'm doing a vlog about the activities that we have conduct, which is storytelling activities, and what I have learned from the project is that we cannot about the game called storytelling, which is each member is required to continue each other's story and finish up the story in the most interesting way. I've done this game in my life during high school. It was very memorable and fun, which is conducted by our school teacher and conducted in face-to-face interaction. I also learned that everyone should have their own opinion and lines to be added in every story and have the creative either to make a story very interesting, so that the story could have remarkable and fun. I also learned a new vocabulary and grammar from the game, which is for my teammates and competitors in the game. Storytelling based language learning alive and creates a participatory and immersive experience that allow young learners to enjoy hearing the language in a dynamic, sometimes stylistic and entertaining way. Participation using key vocabulary and phrases can create an awareness of freedom and structure. This atmosphere of play and character expression creates an appetite for more familiar experience. Students who have enjoyed storytelling in class often ask for more stories and feel like motivated and encouraged to get the time act out or illustrate their own stories in a variety of ways. The act of storytelling appeals to different learning preference and personality, ensuring from the size to the most active of the students, everyone has a chance to participate in the way that they can enjoy. This range from listening quietly to taking part as an actor, engaging in storytelling activities is the way to motivate even the most selected readers or writers. Storytelling is defined as relating a tale to one or another listeners through voice and gesture, because storytelling relies on both the listeners and the teller. The strategy utilizes the social element of language. Researchers have found that literacy instruction is the most effective when developed through social interaction and collaboration with others. The pedagogical strategies capitalize on students' desire to talk and interact with others. In fact, some researchers have found that the weakest readers and writers are often the most adept at storytelling, reading on the synergistic relationship between language and in an interactive way. Students and lecturers can use storytelling to improve literacy learning using the medium of performing arts. Reports that storytelling is a fundamental method for sharing knowledge among people, as it allows participants to be transported to another time and place. Through the use of descriptive oral language, students are able to have an enhanced experience with literatures. And the second question is, what personal development have you experienced? The personal development that I experienced from the game is that I get to improve my communication skill. From the game, we had to interact with each other, since that effective communication plays an important role in sharpening one's personality and commands over the language of communication always reflects confidence. English helps individuals to express themselves most effectively. Without feelings and knowledge should be passed on most desirably, and effective communication with English helps you the same. A person should be able to speak English in a good manner and make an impression. Always remember, no one will take you seriously if you do not master the art of the English language and make the communication smarter, better, and faster. Effective command of English also will strengthen the bond among people. It also helps in improving interpersonal relationships with other people. Selecting the words carefully is an essential thing for effective communication skills. We really ought to know what you are speaking. We never know what will hurt the facing person. Never use abusive word English to anyone. You can witness firsthand how body language and tone affect the ability of a storyteller to deliver the strong speeches by attending venues that host them. Leaders and speakers should have it. It is a must-have for sales. It must have for entrepreneurs, business leader. You can publish your story by watching others and going into theirs. Confidence, flexibility, engagement with your audience, and knowing your staff are the keys to a great story. How can you do that? By this, you will feel more relaxed and confident if you are more familiar with your material. There are so many possible outcomes. However, you reduce the error with preparation. The more you know your material, the better you will be able to adapt and deal with any situation. There is one now for the third question is one challenging experience and solution taken to curb the problem. So there is one challenging experience and solution taken to curb the problem, which is fear of storytelling and speaking. Even the most confident speakers find ways to distance themselves from the audience. Is how our brains are programmed. So how can we overcome it? It is by human generosity. The key to calming the amygdala and disarming our panic button is to turn the focus away from ourselves, away from whether we mess up, whether the audience will like us, and what happening the audience. Showing kindness and generosity, so others have been shown to activate the vagus nerve, which has the power to calm the fight or flight response. We are, when we are kind to others, we tend to feel calmer and less stressed. The same principle applies to storytelling. When we approach the storytelling with a spirit of generosity, we counteract the sensation of being under attack and we feel less nervous. And it follows that when they get up to speak, nearly all of them initially avoid making eye contact with members of the audience. Therein lies the problem. Where avoiding the eye contact may seem like an effective strategy for coping with speaking ability. It actually makes you even more nervous. To understand why, we need to go back to prehistoric times when humans are received eye watching as an existential threat. Those eyes were likely predators. People are literally terrified of being eaten alive. In response to that prehistoric reality, the amygdala, the part of our brain that helps us to respond to danger, kick into full gear. And part of our brain that helps us respond to danger kick into and when our fight or flight response gets triggered, we understandably feel intense stress and anxiety. What does it have to do with storytelling? Turns out is everything is related to this prehistoric times. So today we speak in front of a group that feel the eyes watching us. We feel painfully visible like a vacuum may expert in a daylight. And because of our brain is telling us that we are under attack, we do whatever is necessary to protect ourselves. We construct walls between ourselves and the source of danger. In this case, the audience to repel the attack and blunt any danger. Who do these walls look like? We focus on our people in front of us, wishing them invisibility. Even the most confident storyteller finds a way to distance themselves from the audience. It's just how do we overcome? Just like I said, the solution is the generosity. Also, there is some ways to curb. Right before you speak, you focus your brain. You are the most nervous right before you speak, and this is in the moment where your brain is telling you, everyone is judging me. What if I fail? So And it is exactly at this moment that you can refocus your brain and remind yourself that you are here to help your audience. Be firm with your brain. Tell yourself, brain, this story is not about me, and it's about my audience. Over time, usually between 4 to 6 times story, your brain will begin to get it, and you will become more or less nervous. And the next question is what made you taken and whether the change was the right or wrong choice. So in this activity, we had to change the story by telling the audience it was a dream to prevent the story with narration and misleading. But from my experience, I've never ever had with a good dream ending. They always end up really unsatisfying, underwhelming, and I often find that them feeling like the writer took an easy way out. It is very easy and fast way to wrap up your story, especially when you are feeling lost in the details. Um, if you are having trouble wrapping up things up and you find yourself leaning toward this ending, I can almost promise you that the ending openly will be more enjoyable to read. Dream ending can be good for a short story like one you write for class that is only a few pages long. I had trouble making an ending short in my creative writing class in high school. However, I only found myself turning to this ending with one story about some superhero or something I don't really remember. The most important thing if you are planning this ending is to really plan it. If you actually want to have this ending and it's not a cop out to certain things, then plan out some things in the book that might hint an event being a dream. Endings are difficult because, in my unprofessional opinion, all parts of the story must be integrated together like a plot basket. The ending begins long before it actually takes place. Each stage of the plot must be introduced smoothly and seamlessly, otherwise the story will feel like choppy and could even seem like a little inexperienced. They may be, but in my gut instinct that is not to do it. I tend to piss the readers off. Think about it. There is nothing worse than getting attached to a set of characters, going through the journey with them, laughing and crying with them as appropriate, and then getting to the end and being told essentially, oh, none of that is matter because none of that is actually really happened. There are stories that get away with something familiar, like The Wizard of Oz, one of them. But notice that although the characters are all against at the end, that it must have been a dream, the readers are never really convinced, nor does the fact that they feel like it was a dream negate the journey that they wanted and on. Whether or not the journey was real is not the point. The point is that the lesson she learned from it, uh, which she remembers and said that she will incorporate into her life going forward. Stories that end with the character forgetting the event are almost as bad in my opinion, unless you are immediately reading that it was a sequel that forced them to remember again. I remember reading Michael Crichton Spears in high school and being inclined in the end that they choose to forget everything. Maybe they had a good reason, but to me it feel like cheating. And they feel like I was cheated out to seeing them struggle to come to games with what is power which exists and thus will continue to exist. Sometime for me. To make a long answer short, if you desire to descending, make sure you plan it out. Heading dreaming doesn't work when it's placed in on the fly for any other session. I would recommend that also to differ if you have time and ability. From our situation in our activity, it is okay to have a dream ending. Since our story has not made up any characters development and it has not been closer to our audience. So that's all for me, and that is my vlog for our activities that we have done in the last month. So see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Thank you.